My record at Gainsborough is actually better than Neil Warnock, so I just want to put that on record. I've got the third best points per game as manager, and Neil's fourth. So yeah, if he watches this, yeah, I just want to get that out there. I'm Curtis Woodhouse, and this is Managers at Home.
Hello everyone and welcome to Managers at Home. We are joined by footballer turned boxer turned manager who has recently been awarded with a British Empire Medal. Curtis Woodhouse, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Thanks for the build-up.
Congratulations on the medal awarded for your services to football and boxing. How do you hear about this? Is it a phone call? Is it an email, or do they come to your house?
It was an email, and it was just before the second lockdown. And at that time, I think like every time I put Facebook on, people saying I've been hacked, this has happened, that had happened. I've been getting some crazy emails, some crazy messages on Messenger, and I got this email through from Her Majesty the Queen. So the first thing you think is, yeah, all right. So then I read it and I was like, oh my God. And it gave me like a number to ring on the bottom. So I rang the number on the bottom. But still, I thought there's going to be the lads on the other end of the phone, like laughing. So I rang and this lady answered, and she spoke really, really posh. So I thought, well, this is nobody I know. And then she asked for my name, my address, and I must have been on a list. And I'm just assuming it's alphabetical order because it seems like she was looking forever. And it was like, oh yeah, we have you here, Curtis Woodhouse. Yeah, congratulations. And I couldn't believe it. So yeah, I mean, still now, anybody that knows me, I'm quite, I take a lot of things in my stride. I'm quite a laid back character, but yeah, it did leave me pretty speechless, really.
There's a date being set for you to collect it. Do you get to go to Buckingham Palace?
Yeah, so you get awarded the medal locally. I think this is because of the COVID restrictions and things like that. And then there's a garden party down at Buckingham Palace in the summer, obviously depending on COVID. So yeah, we get to have our day down south, which for us Northerners, that's a big thing. We don't get to London very often. So yeah, I can't wait to go down. It's going to be crazy, really surreal.
Before we touch upon your managerial career, could you just give us a bit of insight into your background growing up in Driffield and how you first got into football?
Yeah, I mean, I had a tough upbringing. I was born in 1980. My dad was born in 1956. We were the only black family for miles. The only other black person I knew, apart from my dad, was my dad's twin brother, who lived just up the road from us. So that was really, really difficult. Our next door neighbour had a black Labrador called the N-word. So that was quite surreal. So yeah, it was quite a tough upbringing. Like I said, I was born in 1980, so I was a Liverpool fan, bit of a glory hunter. Lived like 300 miles from Liverpool, but John Barnes was my hero. All I ever dreamt of growing up was being the next John Barnes. I wanted to play for England, and I wanted to play for Liverpool. So that's how my journey started, really. And when I went to secondary school, my best friend in secondary school was a guy called Lee Morris. His dad was former Sheffield United winger Colin Morris, who was a cracking player. And Colin rang Sheffield United up and said, oh, my son and his best mate are not bad at football. Can they come for a trial? And we were 12 years old at the time. So we went up, had a trial, did well, and stayed there 9 or 10 years. Lee left, went to Derby for £3 million, and I left and went to Birmingham City for £1 million. So, yeah, I think that trial went okay.
Of course, you went on to play for Sheffield United, Birmingham, Hull, England under-21s. And I was looking through your managers. You played under some massive personalities: Neil Warnock, Barry Fry, Steve Bruce, Peter Taylor, Ronnie Moore. What was Neil Warnock like to play under?
Neil Warnock is exactly how you see him on the telly. And that's what I love about Neil. He is exactly how you think he's going to be. He's not a coach. I can't remember him ever taking a coaching session, but he's a manager. He's got a knack and a habit of getting the best out of people, the best out of the group. you know, and his record speaks for itself, doesn't it? You know, it's incredible. And when you first go into management, you don't realize how good you have to be to not even win things on a regular basis, but to have longevity in the game. You need to be really good. And Neil Warnock's longevity speaks for itself. And everywhere he's been, he's done well. And I think that is because he's good with people. Even when you fall out with Neil Warnock, you still like him, which is strange. So Neil sold me to Birmingham City, and I like Neil. You know, I think he's a great bloke and done a great job. And yeah, like I said, his longevity in the game speaks for itself. And I love the fact that no one likes him as well. I really like that about him. No one likes him, and he don't care. He just gets on with basically getting teams promoted from the Championship to the Premiership. He makes it look easy.
And you're in the same side as Chris Wilder. What was he like we all know him as a manager, but what was he like as a player? And does his journey, as well as Neil Warnock's journey from non-league to the Premier League as managers, does that give you inspiration yourself?
Yeah, well, I was coming through as an apprentice when Chris Wilder was with the first team. And first and foremost, Tufty's a great bloke. He's great to be around, great to socialise with, but he's got a real, I don't want to say nasty streaks, it's a wrong word, but a real determined streak to him. So it's no surprise that he's done so well. And with someone like me coming into management and decided to go the route that I've decided to go down, which is doing my apprenticeship, I think it's really important. Someone like Chris Wilder, someone like me, is who we all look towards and see the journey he's been on, you know, with Bradway, with Alfreton, with Halifax, with Oxford. He's kind of doing the scenic route, but now he's in the job at the top table. He will no doubt feel absolutely, totally well-rounded in management. And that's why he's been so successful for me. So, you know, without, you know, big boots to fill Chris Wilder's, but without, you know, trying to say I'm trying to be the next Chris Wilder, I do look at his journey as a journey that I've gone down. And luckily for me, I've had age on my side. I first started managing at 26. So I have got age. I've been able to take my time and make mistakes and do things where I look back and think, oh, I won't do that again. But again, now I feel like I'm ready to go to that next level now and next step. And I'm very, very well-rounded. Probably managed 500 games already at such a young age, maybe even more. So, yeah, I'm very, very well-rounded. And some of the clubs I've had have been like, they make Chris Wilder's stories at Halifax, you know, that looks like a walk in the park for some things that I've had to deal with. So, I mean, one of the things when I was at Hull United, Ian Ashby was my assistant manager, and that step, I don't think it's got a step with that level that it's called. It's like it's the lowest step you can start off with. And we were playing a game. It was against East Riding, someone, I can't remember what they were called, but it was a bit of a fiery game. Tackles going in left, right, and centre. The referee blew the whistle really loudly and walked over to me and Ash, and I thought he was going to either send one of us off or send one of our players off. And he came over and said, "Excuse me, lads, there's some dog shit on the pitch. Can one of you come and get it off?" And me and Ash on the sidelines, 1,000 league games between us, and we had to go on the pitch and clean up some dog shit. So, yeah, I don't. To say I've started at the lowest would be an understatement. But you know, these are valuable lessons that I've learned along the way. So, yeah, I've loved it, but I'm ready for that next step. I think I've earned it.
Definitely. And Barry Fry, what a character. You played under him at Peterborough. What was he like? And did he spark your interest in boxing?
Well, when you play for Barry Fry after a bit, you do start to think I might want to do something else here. So, but no, Baz was brilliant. I had a good 18 months with Baz, to be honest. He nicknamed me Captain Marvel. He said I score goals at one end and clear them off the line at the other. So I had a good, but I wasn't stupid. I knew Baz was just trying to sell me. That's all. So, but yeah, I enjoyed my time under Baz. He's a real character. Again, a bit like Neil Warnock. Exactly how you see him on the TV is how he is. You know, I've never seen Baz anything other than 100 mile an hour, bubbly. You know, and he's a great bloke, and it's great to see him having success now at Peterborough. Out of the dugout. Because when I went there, Baz was the manager, the chairman. he was everything and keeping the football club afloat. So the pressure, and when you're a player, you know, you don't appreciate what managers are going through. And the pressure he must have been under to find the wages every week, to try and get 3 points on a Saturday as well. It's incredible, really. So I'm glad that he's kind of enjoying the second phase of his managerial career, kind of as what he's doing at Peterborough United now. But yeah, I love Baz. Great bloke, great character, great for the game. And yeah, I played some good football under Baz.
So your managerial journey, 2012, started at Sheffield FC, the oldest club in football, Northern Premier League Division 1 South they're in at the time. How did that job come about, and how did you find that first experience?
Well, I played 7 or 8, 9, 10 games for Sheffield FC. And then I think I was still boxing at the time. And I can't remember really the process of getting the job. But one thing I remember from my time at Sheffield FC is how difficult the job of managing was. You know, and I don't think any player appreciates how hard it is until you actually do it. As a player, you play the game, jump in the shower. If you lose, you've got the ump for a bit, a couple of beers with the lads. You're normally over it. But as a manager, you sat up till 2, 3 in the morning, second guessing every decision you made. It's a really, really stressful job to do, especially with zero experience as a 26-year-old. So yeah, I found that job really, really hard. But one thing it did do, it really whet my appetite, because when you win a game or when something you've worked on happens, it's brilliant. It gives you such a buzz. And I must admit, I enjoy managing. There won't be many managers that say this, but I enjoy managing a hell of a lot more than I enjoy playing. You know, my journey is quite well documented. I fell out of love with football at a young age. I don't even know why. You know, the best way I explain it is sometimes men and women that are married get divorced, and there's no reason for it. They just kind of grow apart. And that's what happened with me with football. I just completely lost my way with it. But as a manager, I feel like I've got a second lease of life, and I really, really, really do enjoy it. And winning games as a manager, I've just found so much more enjoyable than I did playing. So yeah, but the Sheffield FC job taught me, number one, I wasn't very good. Number two, I had a long, long way to go. And number three, I do really enjoy it though. So, you know, and they're the three things I took from that job. And I think every job that I've gone to, I've done better and better and better and better. And I think that's just a proof of you need experience. Imagine if my first job was, say, let's say a Halifax town. I'd have got sacked. I wouldn't have known what I was doing and probably never got another job ever again. So, you know, I'm a big advocate that you've got to get out and do the hard yards if you want a long, successful career. And that's what I want.
So moving on to 2014, you're a boxer and you won the British light-welterweight title. You went from 189th, I believe, to first in the rankings. What was that journey like? And were you managing a club at the time?
Not when I won the British title, I wasn't. I won the English title and I was managing Sheffield FC. And that was another thing which I realised once I start moving up the football levels, I'm going to have to, you know, fully dedicate my time to it. I can't be boxing as well. But yeah, I mean, that's my first ever fight as a professional boxer. Again, I went into it probably a little bit thinking, this is easy. I've watched it on the TV. I can do this. And I realised after 30 seconds of my career, I'm not very good at this. And the guy I boxed was ranked 187th in Great Britain out of 189. And I was 189th. So it was literally the Donkey Derby. And I won by, I think it was 1 point that I won by. So yeah, I was ranked 189th in Great Britain out of 189. And I've got no shame in saying that I was there on merit. And it took me 9 years to be ranked number one and become the British light welterweight champion. So the journey was like ridiculous. If I'd have known what I was going into, I probably wouldn't have done it. It was so hard. Physically, mentally, financially, you know, people don't understand how little money there is in boxing. But I was doing it to prove a point to myself, and I wanted to prove to myself that I could dedicate myself to something. And I did that, and I'm really, really proud of that, because it's a hard sport. It's boxing. I can't, you know, my eldest son, I do a bit of sparring with him, and he said, "Oh, Dad, do you think maybe I could have a fight?" I'm like, absolutely no chance, son. You know, go get your GCSEs sorted out and go down that route, because it's a tough game, but it's an amazing game. It taught me so much about myself. But yeah, again, underestimated how hard it was going to be.
And then in managerial terms, you've gone from steps 8 to 7 to 5 to 4 to 3. Since Sheffield and Gaul, you've managed Hull United, Bridlington, Takas Albion, and Gainsborough Trinity, where Neil Warnock also started out. How have you found this path rising up the non-league pyramid, and what have you learned about yourself as a manager?
Yeah, just quickly, my record at Gainsborough is actually better than Neil Warnock, so I just want to put that on record. I've got the third best points per game as manager, and Neil's fourth. So yeah, if he watches this, yeah, I just want to get that out there. But what have I learned? It's been brilliant, you know, because I've got a massive encyclopedia of players now in the non-league levels. I've learned that. I've learned about all different types of players and what makes them better than others. A lot of it's mentality. As you go up the levels, the players are more dedicated, and that's a lot of the reason why they're there. Tactically, I've been able to learn loads of things by making mistakes. By making mistakes not under huge pressure. By making mistakes where, as if I do make a mistake and it leads to us losing the game, I don't put Sky Sports News on or the local newspaper and it's Woodhouse out and all things like that. So I've been able to make mistakes away from the glare of publicity. And like, again, that's why I feel so well-rounded now. And like I say, it's an important thing, you know, to be able to go make mistakes and have people around you that believe in you and allow you to make them mistakes and continue to do what you're doing. And like I said, every job that I've gone to, I've got better and better and better. And that's just through experience.
Great to see. And you've said, I think you managed around 500 games already. You're only 40. What's the high point been so far? I think you've won some silverware already.
Yeah, once. I mean, what I'd say the low point is probably losing a cup final at Bramall Lane. That one stung a little bit. But yeah, won a few things for Bridlington. We broke a club record at Gainsborough Trinity for wins away from home or undefeated away from home. So that was brilliant. The run we had at Tadcaster was amazing. So when I went there, I think we had 4 players signed up. The budget had been slashed by about 66%. I think it worked out at. So we had absolutely no players. So we had to beg, steal and borrow and get players in on absolute peanuts. And the job remit was to try and stave off relegation. And I left Tadcaster second in the league to then join Gainsborough Trinity, who was second from bottom. So, and then, you know, again, the remit was to keep Gainsborough Trinity in the league. And that season went on an unbelievable run and finished 10th. So they're probably the 2 highlights. We went, I think, my first 14 games at Bridlington, we won them all. So that was a bit of a crazy run. Yeah, so I thought this is easy. I think Bridlington was my first job that I'd taken when I'd stopped boxing. So yeah, after like 14 games in, I thought not much of this management business. And yeah, when I went to Bridlington, I think we were 5th from bottom and we finished 3rd that season. So yeah, as I've gone on, the results have got better and better and better. So I wouldn't say there's one highlight that stands out. I'd just say the last probably 3 years have been one big highlight because it's been nothing but, you know, step ups and success really. So I'm really proud of my body of work, I'd say. So yeah, I love it.
And you recently left Gainsborough Trinity. What have you been up to since? And have you applied for any new jobs?
Yeah, definitely. I'm open. Ideally, I feel like I need to go to a full-time football club now. I feel that's my next natural progression. I'm hopeful of getting something along them lines. I'm open to working anywhere in this country or other countries. So yeah, I just want to kind of broaden my horizons, and I think the only thing that I'm looking for from a football club is to have a solid foundation and somewhere that I believe I can do a good job. You know, I don't want to go in there firefighting and no, I have no facilities. I've done all that. I think I've done them yards. I'm ready. I just want to go to a place where I feel like, yeah, I can progress this football club and I can progress myself as well and learn new things.
How would you describe your style of management and the style of play that you want to implement?
I've just had a message on my phone while I've been speaking saying Chris Wilder's been sacked.
What?
Yeah, I've just had a message on my phone. That's why it's just absolutely.
He's been sacked.
I've lost my track a little bit. Yeah, it's just popped up on my phone.
Oh, breaking news on a manager's home. Jesus Christ.
Well, I hope it's not true. As I said the other day, imagine trying to follow Chris Wilder. It'll be like trying to follow Sir
You might be getting a phone call now then.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow, yeah, it's done. What were we talking about then?
Your style of management and what play you look at.
Yeah, listen, I like my teams to play like my personality, which is 100 mile an hour, you know, fast, furious, get the ball down, pass it. I like my wingers to be fast. I want bodies in the box, cross it, get on the end of things. I love it, you know, tackles, what I call proper football. See, my perfect team to watch is Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp when they were good, you know, where it's not so much of a slow build-up. It's fast and it's furious and it's brilliant to watch and there's goals and it's exciting. I'm more of that ethos, more rather than the kind of slow build-up, possession-based play of someone, say, like Manchester City. But listen, if I get one of my teams to play like Man City, I'd take it. But I'd just say my preferred style is more of a Jurgen Klopp style, I'd say.
What's it like being a manager on Twitter?
Carnage. It's not as bad as being a boxer on Twitter, though. You know, being a boxer on Twitter is ridiculous. Everyone can beat you up. You're rubbish. You know, I think just Twitter in general is just that it's not a real place, is it? It's not real what goes on Twitter. People are like come up to me and say nothing but amazingly nice things and congratulations, or I watched this fight, or I seen your result on Saturday, brilliant. But it's just Twitter people seem to take on different personalities, don't they? And it's not a real place, and it's real difficult to take anything on there at face value. But because I don't think people are that nasty in real life, are they? You know, the world's not that bad a place. If you go on Twitter and take what you think the world's like off Twitter, of course, you'd never leave your house, would you?
It's like, who was that guy that, I think it was a while ago now, but the guy that called you out, I think, on Twitter, and then you went on Lorraine Kelly to...
Yeah, it was... I nicknamed him Jimmy Brown Pants. But basically, you know, he overstepped the mark with what he was saying. He'd been trolling me for ages. And, I mean, you get it all the time on Twitter. It's like water off a duck's back to me. But then I put a tweet out saying, I've just dropped the kids off at school. I'm going to the gym, something really, really mundane. And he replied with, you better be careful. No, he said, you want to be careful where you drop your kids off at school. You never know who's watching. That's what he said. So for me, that's overstepping the mark. And I thought, I'm not having this. So I put on Twitter, I put £1,000 bounty on his head. I said, if anyone could tell me where this guy lives, I'll give him £1,000. Within 10 minutes, I had his full address. I had deeds to his house. I had everything. I knew more about him than he knew about himself. I had his full fixture list for the Sunday League team he played for. So I was like, right, it's game on. I'm not having this. So I put his address into my sat-nav, and he's 47 minutes away, it said. So I had nothing on that morning. So away I was.